He said, "No, I'm serious.
Good morning, Comrade. It is Monday, the 26th of July, 2021. This is your daily Good Morning, Comrade. That music's still loud. How we doing today? How we doing? Yeah, it's going to be wild. Only on Twitch today. I think that's going to be how things are going to be going, at least going forward. Apparently a part of the affiliate contract. This kind of sucks, but it says no multi-streaming. So if you usually watch on YouTube, or if you know someone that usually watches on YouTube, please let them know. Hop in on Twitch, because that's the only way that they'll let me do it. Apparently I can get clapped by Twitch for doing it wrong. I don't know. Like, whatever. It's kind of a bummer, right? Kind of a bummer. But maybe I can dump StreamYard now. And use something a little bit. It doesn't cost like $25 a month, I guess. But I still haven't set up a lot of the stuff. I haven't set up the emotes. I haven't set up the anything like that. But you can now sub to this channel, which is pretty sweet. You can actually, sub right through here. You don't have to go all the way to Patreon if you want to support the show, which is sick. But yeah, anyway, you can do that if you want to. We'll figure out what's going to happen with all like the emotes and whatever. But yeah, we got some news today, folks. We got kind of a lot of news. We got some reacts. We got kind of a full show today. So yeah, How's everybody doing? Got through the weekend just all right. Monday, brand new week, baby. Let's go. Like I say, when the toilets are still flushing in the house because we had that plumbing problem, I'm pretty thrilled. Not gonna lie. But yeah, who we got in chat? Where's my chatters at? Good morning to y'all. I guess I'm gonna start off with the Frito-Lay workers. We've been talking a little bit about their strike out in Topeka, Kansas. It has come to an end after 20 days. The story. It has come to an end after 20 days. There we go. After a nearly 3-week strike, hundreds of Frito-Lay employees in Topeka, Kansas have ratified a revised contract Saturday addressing what union leaders had previously described as a diminished quality of life stemming from work conditions, including long hours, forced overtime, and stagnated wages. Talking like 80-hour weeks. Literally cases are, reports of somebody like dying on the floor and management saying, hey, move them over and get back to work. Like, literally, like, crazy stuff, right? Like, dehumanizing stuff. Like, you are basically material to get this company, more money. Hey, good morning, Claydonius. How you doing? The contract will provide workers with guaranteed day off each work week because they were working 7 days a week. So now they only work 6, which is still bullshit. But, it eliminates so-called squeeze shifts or shifts the company suicide shifts or squeeze shifts, as the company called it, where workers put in 8-hour days plus 4 hours of overtime before returning for their next shift. So basically, it's like a double shift and a clopen at the same time. The news of their agreement was first reported Saturday by the New York Times. Frito-Lay, owned by PepsiCo, said the union representing the workers will have additional opportunities for input on staffing and overtime. More forced overtime, you mean? Yeah, they're working not quite suicide shifts. It's like contemplation shifts, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't say anything about the specifics. The time of the agreement was first reported Saturday by the New York Times. Frito-Lay, owned by PepsiCo, said the union representing the workers will have additional opportunities. I already said that. Revised contract will also offers 4% wage increases. Doesn't sound like very much. 4% increase. I mean, like, it's good that they're getting increases. 4% is pretty low. 4% increases to employees in all job classifications over the 2-year contract, according to the company's statement. The workers belong to Local 218 of the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers International Union. In a statement Saturday, let's look at the statement. Anthony Shelton, the union's international president, said the workers, quote, have shown the world that working people can stand up against the largest food companies in the world and claim victory for themselves, their families, and their communities. First time, 20-day strike marked the first time the plant, the first of the plant in decades of operation. Yeah. Let's look at the statement. Let's see what we got, folks. Let's see what we got. Hey, Claydonius, thank you so much for subscribing. You are the first ever subscriber to this channel. Give it up for Claydonius. Hell yeah. We love you. I haven't set up any alerts yet. I'm working on that. So, BCTGM Local 218 members ratify collective bargaining agreement and a 20-day Frito-Lay strike. This is out of, well, I guess the location of the home base of the unions in Maryland. Anthony Sheldon, International President of the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers International Union, issued the following statement on the conclusion of the strike by Local 218 members at the Frito-Lay facility in Topeka, Kansas. BCTGM, Local 218 members employed at Frito-Lay in Topeka, Kansas, have shown the world that union working people can stand up against the largest food company in the world and claim victory for themselves, their families, and their communities. More than 600 BCTGM workers hit the streets in a fight for better quality of life and to have a voice over how many hours in a week they can be forced to work. This fight resonated across the country and around the world, and the outpouring of support for our brave union members in Topeka was overwhelming. Labor unions, community allies, politicians, concerned citizens, and the religious community all played a part in this historic victory. I also want to express our gratitude for the International of Food and Allied Workers for rallying food union members around the world in support of this strike. Hell yeah. The outcome of the strike was a testament to the tenacity and grit of the Frito-Lay workers in Topeka. I could not be more proud of our Local 218 membership, the Union Negotiating Committee, and Midwest International Vice President Brad Schmidt, and International Representative Jason Davis, like the union officials, I guess. While this victory will go down in the history books of BCTGM, similar fights are happening across North America, where union workers are standing up to employers and demanding respect on the job and a legitimate say over working conditions. The BCTGM International will always stand with our union brothers and sisters in support of our fight for dignity, justice, and respect on the job. So, I mean, again, they got a better contract. That's great. They got, less suicidal shifts, and some pay raises. Hopefully that's, good enough. So, it's a start. It's something. It's something. We love to see it, folks. We love to see workers standing up for their shit and winning. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the Nina Turner election happening out in Cleveland. So Nina Turner is, she's long been a supporter of Bernie Sanders. She's one of the more progressive people. Progressive, you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean like FDR. I don't mean like Elizabeth Warren. I mean somebody that's like is. I don't know if she's ever declared herself to be like a socialist or anything, but she's definitely up for, like, she's full-throated for Medicare for all. She's full-throated for erasing college tuition, student debt rather, and free college. So like that is definitely one of the people that we need to be supporting, right? And turns out she's leading the conservative Democrat-backed fundraiser in the upcoming election. She's fueled by a lot of small donations from out of state of Ohio. So let's get into this, and then I have a little special treat. Because we can save that for a minute. So, Cleveland, Ohio, more than $6 million has poured into the 11th Congressional District Democratic primary during the special election cycle, as former state senator Nina Turner and Cuyahoga County Councilwoman Chantel Brown continued to lead the pack significantly, with the August 3rd election day rapidly approaching. Now, hilariously, and we did talk about this, I think, when this took place, but probably about a month or so ago, maybe a little bit longer, Hillary Clinton decided to endorse Chantel Brown, the sort of, neoliberal conservative, opponent of Nina Turner, and that sort of sparked Nina Turner to get her best fundraising day of the entire year, which is kind of hilarious. But now you sort of see as this story as this election sort of moves forward, how the donations and things have been shaking out. So Brown, who started off slow in fundraising, has seen a significant increase, posting $1.3 million in her latest federal election commission filing, covering donations from April 1st through April 14th. That brings her total raised throughout the race to just more than $2 million. Turner, meanwhile, continues to dominate fundraising, posting $2.3 million for the latest period and $4.5 million overall. Hell yeah, she got her doubled up. The two significantly outraised the other 11 Democrats in the race. So they're the only two that matter, really. They're the only two that really matter. And it sucks that fundraising is such an important part of elections, but we have a terrible system that basically privileges money. So if you get the money, you're in pretty good shape. And again, having it done by small dollar donations is good. Good morning, Ginny the Dragon. How are you today? It's very nice to see you. The FEC figures don't include those from outside groups such as DMFI PAC, the political wing of the Democratic Majority for Israel. That's probably a Zionist group, which has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads boosting Brown and attacking Turner. Much of Brown's support in this election has been aided by the Israel lobby. Aside from DMFI PAC, more than $536,000 of Brown's total fundraising has come through pro-Israel PAC, pro-Israel America PAC rather. Another pro-Israel PAC, NORPAC, has collected around $49,000 for Brown. That's a lot of money from Zionists going to her. Is she just been a huge Zionist ally this entire time? I mean, that makes sense. A lot of mainstream Democrats pull that off. Republicans both in and outside the district are also backing Brown. So basically, the Republicans are backing her. The right wing, literally, the conservative Republicans in Ohio are backing Nina Turner's opponent. Her latest fundraising report showed backing from Roger Steinberg, former chairman of the Cuyahoga County Republican Party. Wow. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, and close confidant of Republican former President Donald Trump. Well. That really makes things a lot more clear, doesn't it? It makes things bright, like it could not be more clear. You got billionaire monsters like Robert Kraft and the chair of the Cuyahoga County Republicans giving to Nina Turner's opponent. Interesting, folks. Interesting. I did have a good weekend. I had a very good weekend. I basically did nothing yesterday. I laid around and took 2 naps. How was your weekend, Ginny? Also, we made affiliate over the weekend, which was always nice. Which I won't shut up about. Which is why we're not on YouTube anymore, because he signed an exclusivity thing with Twitch. So tell all the YouTube people to come over here. It's nice over here. We love it. Turner collected more from small dollar donors than Brown, though continued her steady stream of celebrity backers. Actors Ted Levine, Kendrick Sampson, Mark Ruffalo, Cynthia Nixon, and John Cusack all gave to Turner, as did radio host Charlemagne the God, music critic Anthony Fantano, Needle Drop, Ben and Jerry's co-founder Jerry Greenfield, and the author Marianne Williamson. She's getting that orb money. Ben and Jerry's, by the way, very interesting dynamic. Ben and Jerry's just stopped selling their ice cream in the occupied territory. Under pressure, they needed to be pressured into it, but they ended up doing it. And it's very funny to see them on the other side of the like organized Israel lobby, like immediately after that. You had COVID? Oh no, Ginny, are you? Your little girl had COVID. She's doing okay. Oh my god, I have so many friends that have like popped up like with COVID right now. Like we're in Louisiana and we have one of the highest like rising rates in COVID right now. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. You can't believe Jeff has sold out the Big Jeffs, buddy. You don't even want it. You don't even want it. We're not talking about that. That'll get you banned. That'll get you banned, Dragon Slayer 19. Bringing that up. Unbelievable. Both campaigns still had significant money in their accounts heading into last week's of the election, with Brown holding around 357,000 and Turner having more than 647. As of this week, Turner has been outspent on television, according to figures from Columbus-based ad tracking firm Medium Buying. Turner has spent $1.36 million on broadcast, cable, and radio ads. Brown has spent $909,000. But is backed by DMFI PAC, which has chipped in another $533. Democratic Action PAC has kicked in another $90K in support of Turner. And it's in a couple of weeks. The election's in a couple of weeks. It's really winding down to the point of August 3rd. So like next Tuesday. So it's like a week and 2 days. A week and 1 day. So, and part of a lot of this run up to the election, AOC was in Cleveland in that district just this past weekend on Saturday. And a buddy of mine, Camilo, actually, this is pretty sick, actually. He introduced AOC at the canvas. Let's take a look. Wearing, by the way, from what I understand, he's wearing an SEIU shirt, which is against the code of SEIU shirts. What a rebel. I need to turn the music off. Hold on. I need to turn the music off. All right.
Go to the doctor. That's right. And the people, the members of SEIU Local 1 are standing up, and SEIU 1199 are standing up to fight for Nina Turner. That's because right. We know that Nina Turner. Senator Nina Turner to the U.S. Congress. We're not just putting Nina in that Congress, we're putting the people in the Congress. Y escuche dónde está la boricua. También sabemos que con Nina Turner vamos a tener una representación que va a ir a cada rincón de nuestra comunidad y escuchar y entender.
He's a union organizer in for SEIU out in the Cleveland area. He's a pal. Name's Camilo.
Vamos a tener representación que entiende cómo es vivir entre aquí y allá. But at the union, we also know another thing. That when you fight alone, you are weak. Right. You are weak. But when you fight together, when we fight together, we are strong. Some people call them some not so nice things. But when we see people from the working class working together, coming together, fighting for the people, I call that the union. So leaders don't sit on the sideline. Leaders don't wait. They're not waiting for Nina to come to Washington. They're coming here to get Nina. And that's why we have one of the most inspiring, powerful leaders in our country today. It's my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you someone who I think needs no introduction. The representative from New York's 14th Congressional District, La Poderosa, La Guerrera, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We can watch a little bit of AOC. We're not going to watch too much. We love AOC, don't we, folks?
Thank you.
Can y'all hear okay?
So much. I'm so thrilled to be here. And I want to say, when I say here, I don't just mean Ohio. I don't just mean Northeast Ohio. I also mean Ward 14. Most specifically, I'm so excited to be at a Canvas launch. Because as we know, the rally's amazing. The party's amazing. But canvases are where the fight gets won.
That's right.
Right here, this is where the work happens. And I love being where the work happens, where we actually get our hands dirty in the work of knocking on our doors and having conversations with our neighbors and building actual community. There's no replacement for that. No TV ad, no mailer, ni nada. Nothing replaces that person to person, human to human conversation. Because people can say whatever they say out there, you have whatever the headline of the day is, but ultimately the people that are trusted the most are your neighbors, your cousins, your tias, your tios, your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents, your friends, your co-workers, all of it. Those conversations are the ones that people trust the most to help inform their decisions in their everyday lives. And so when you all come out here, we're all here together. I mean, this is thousands of doors right here. And you know what makes this powerful? What makes this powerful is today we're knocking on a door to talk about who's going to be our next congresswoman.
I mean, canvassing is where you, like, I don't know, like when it comes to elections and when it comes to, like, you know, I've never been somebody that said, like, elections are the key to everything, but it's definitely a part of it. And getting people who actually support working class policies like AOC in the Congress is part of the recipe. You know, whether I think it's often an overemphasized part by liberals mostly. However, and I think it's underemphasized, unfortunately, by a lot of leftists. But I think that it's something you can't ignore to a certain degree. You need to hit like sort of a balance on it. And I think like supporting particular campaigns like this one are super important, and it's good to see AOC out there as well. I mean, like, again, like AOC gets it in a certain sense. Like, I think she gets it from the perspective of she goes to these sorts of things and gets people elected, and also she goes to strike lines where workers are out striking. If you remember, she showed up at the Teamsters strike line several months ago. So there's a lot to this. Is it still illegal to do that in Georgia, to do canvassing? No, it's not illegal to do canvassing. No way. Like one of the thing with Georgia was a lot of what happened there was there's just closing off a lot of early voting, and they're increasing, like they're making it more strict in terms of voter IDs that you would need to have, which is like absolutely suppressing votes. Like that's the point of it, right? To suppress the vote. because when low turnout elections happen, Republicans win.
District, and that's Nina Turner.
I don't know that canvassing is illegal anywhere. I know that like certain kinds of protesting has been outlawed, and they've also been like when it comes to picket lines and street protests, rules that have like rolled back protections for people, or like rolled back liability for like if you drive through a protest and hit somebody, you're not going to be held responsible. Electoralism, the salt of politics, can be put on everything, good at preserving things as they are, but tends to be over. Yeah. Oh, absolutely right, Dragon Slayer 19. You are forgiven for your earlier transgressions.
Knock on that door and have that conversation today, and that neighbor has seen your face and engaged you and had that conversation today. It may be about voting for Nina today, but tomorrow it may be about unionizing your workplace. The day after that, it may be about a local ordinance on a $15 minimum wage. The day after that, it's going to be about holding polluters accountable who are poisoning our water. The day after that, it's about putting together a PTA. Day after that, it's about fundraising for your school. That is what makes this work important. And that's what you all are signing up to do today, is to build the scaffolding and infrastructure of community. And so here's the thing, every conversation you have, it can never be undone. That is permanent work. That is a brick you lay on the ground that can't be picked up. And then the day after that, we add bricks and bricks and bricks and movement and movement and movement. It increases exponentially. Exponentially. And that's the work that you all are engaged in today. So I want to thank you for doing that. I say that as a former field organizer because I know this work is hard. Yes. But we know that it may be hard because it is the most important. It is hard because it is impactful.
All right. So shout out to AOC. Can't believe AOC went all out of her way not to mention the March for Medicare for All or Medicare. I think she does mention Medicare for All in here somewhere, but yeah, the March. I didn't. I actually barely even noticed the March for Medicare for All. They didn't have like a local thing here. I don't know. It seems to only be something that's happening like in the big cities. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But like, if you don't live in the big cities, it seems to be very easy to ignore at the very least.
And we know what's at stake in this race. This is a deep blue seat. It's a deep blue seat. Districts like Ohio 11s should be leading the country. That can take and be visionary. There's a lot of other districts that are much more competitive. They don't have the privilege or the luxury to.
March for Medicare for All sucks at SEO too. Like I just typed in March for Medicare for All and I couldn't find anything. But you put in M for all, then it comes up. It's very funny.
Say yes, Medicare for all.
Yeah, they didn't even have one in Louisiana. This is the only cities that they had. Albuquerque, Atlanta, Austin, Bemidji. Oh boy. Sorry, Minnesota. Bend, Oregon, Binghamton, New York, Birmingham, Alabama. So they had a number of marches, I guess. My sort of take on the March for Medicare for All is that like it's fine if you do it, but like maybe don't include Nazis. It's not a great look. Maybe don't include like the fascists, but I don't know. What do I know? You thought they made whatever Stacey Abrams did illegal, but I don't know which. I'm not sure what would have been illegal that they made. I mean, I'm sure I'd have to take a look. I mean, like what Stacey Abrams did was built a machine and used it to turn people out. Probably certain things like they keep like whining about things like vote harvesting or whatever. Like they try and make it scary, but that's all only like collecting like mail-in ballots and mailing them in for people. Like, that's not. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe they. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look back at the law, but if there's something that they made illegal, it was probably something like that.
Yes, we can do these things.
Si se puede.
Sí se puede. And so there aren't too many districts like these that can lead the country. And so the people, you all, have the responsibility for all of us to help add one more member to lead that fight. And let me tell you something, the lobbyists know that. Dark money knows that. That's why they've come here too. Because they know how powerful Nina is. They wouldn't be dumping the money that they're dumping if Big Pharma knew that we would get a step closer to guaranteed health care within their term. The polluters, they know that that'll stop and they'll be held accountable with a Congresswoman Nina Turner. Union busters, they know that they will have an opponent.
Jeff Dorr. Jeffy Dorr. Yeah, I don't know. Like part of it too. I was just sort of looking through a lot of the March for Medicare for All, and like they've gotten some legitimate organizations to sign on to their thing. But yeah, don't need Nazis for sure. North New Jersey DSA. That's a great chapter, by the way. I got friends up there. Birmingham DSA. There's just like a couple of decent groups in here. Chicago Teachers Union. Like it's not worth throwing an entire like the intention of like something like the March for Medicare for All makes sense. The leadership seems dumb as shit, though. You know what I mean?
And Congresswoman Nina Turner.
Right.
And let's just be frank. Big money knows no party. It knows no party.
Yeah.
Big money does not care if you are a Democrat, does not care if you're a Republican, it does not care if you're an independent. If they can buy you, they will.
Hello.
If they think they can buy you, they will try. And so they will pour in dark money into this race, as we have seen. They will try to distract, they will try to dismay, they will try to shock, they will try to scare you.
I do love that she brought up union busters, though. Like she's connecting the labor component to the electoral component, which like does also need to be done.
And the thing is because they know that they can't win the head-to-head. They're counting on you counting yourself out. That's what they want you. They want you to think that you can't win. They want you to think that it's not possible. They want you to give up on a door. They want you to say, you know what? I'm tired. Well, we've got 10 days. We can be tired on day 11. This will work. But here's the other thing, too. I said earlier today, and we said this back in New York, big money is very lonely, but we've got people on our side. But you know what the other thing is, too? Big money's pretty lazy, I gotta say. They'll whip up an ad, they'll cut it, they'll run it on TV, they'll send something on a mailer. Big money will not have an emotional conversation to connect with you at your door. So we gotta go where they're not. We're here, they're not. Ain't that the facts? They ain't here. You know why? Because they don't care about us. They care about padding their profit margins. They care about making sure that insulin stays expensive. They care about making sure that you have to choose between your rent check and your prescription. Because they just want to gouge and gouge and gouge. They want to make sure that everything's so expensive that you have to work 2 jobs. They want to make sure that your wages don't raise up, but they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our families. We care about our families. We care about our community. And that's why we have to elect people like Nina, who are accountable to everyday people and not the dark forces.
Big math. Oh, don't get me started on big math. You know what? You're right. AOC is canceled now.
Nina versus any opponent. This is about the people versus big money. It's about people versus money. That's what this race is about. And we're here to let them know that they cannot buy Ohio 11's congressional district. They will not buy the people of Northeast Ohio. And they certainly will never, can never, ever buy Senator Nina Turner. And that's why they're trying to stop her.
I never really understand when when people like hyper focus on like AOC or people in the squad. Like I could see Jayapal getting some heat largely because she's the chair of the Progressive Caucus, like the Democratic Progressive Caucus or whatever. But like, and I think, by the way, like as far as Congress goes, like Jayapal's been doing pretty good in that sense. But like people that just like hyper focus on AOC for not being a fighter when she's literally like out in the community, out in Ohio 11, knocking doors to grow power so that she can do that. It's like it shows some kind of like a fundamental misunderstanding of politics. At best, that's like the good faith version, and the bad faith version is like you're just trying to like clout yourself up, which is probably, it's probably more likely, but I'd like to think, I like to think people are just dumb rather than ill-intentioned. Obviously, I know that the case can be both, but it kind of keeps the lanes open for conversation if you take the dumb approach.
Because we're here to fight for a better future. We're here to fight for a better future. We're going to do it with solidarity with one another. We're going to do it with commitment. And we're going to do it with the inside-outside organizing that's necessary to agitate for change.
People do like have weird fixations specifically on AOC too. But there's certain amounts of racism and that go into that. Yeah. Not in every case, but in many there are.
What this is about. This is about power. And they don't know what to do with us. They don't know what to do with communities that have woken up and understood what the power dynamics are on a class basis, on a race basis, on a status basis, on an environmental basis. They don't know what to do with that. They think they can buy it, and they don't know what to do with something you can't buy. And that is why communities...
That's true. They probably don't know who the fuck Jayapal and Mark Pocan are. Like they just like, oh, AOC's popular, I'm gonna rail against her.
Important. That is why solidarity is important. That is why that work is important, because it's the...
Obviously we live in a racist patriarchal society. I guess the question is, what are you gonna do about it?
Only thing you can't buy. And when you don't, that's the rule breaking right there. It's paradigm busting. I was sharing earlier today in Cleveland Heights, a lot of us, when we first got to Congress, one of the first questions I was asked was, what do you want? What do you want? Like, what are you after? And the implication, the start of that question was not about
politics. I can't believe these elite Nina Turner campaign supporters literally putting AOC on a pedestal. Unbelievable.
They were like, what do you want to run for? What do you want to be chair of? What do you want? The tit for tat. Because that's how our country is run. That's how our government has been run for so long. That, I can't take a stand on an issue today because I may want to run for something at some other later time. So I'm going to keep my powder dry when I represent a progressive district. No, enough with that. We need people who are willing to lose their seats over what is right. And so I told them, I said, what do I want? I want Medicare for all.
Yeah. There she goes. Talking about Medicare for all. She's lost me.
I want a Green New Deal. Yeah. What do I want? I want a $15 minimum wage. Yeah. What do I want? I want to abolish our carceral system that's designed to trap Black and brown men. Yeah. I want justice. I want peace. And I want prosperity. That's what I want. want.
Can I get a hello, somebody?
That's what Nina wants. That's what we all want. And so that is the important piece. That's the important piece. And we told them, listen, this is all that we want. I don't care about anything else. We don't care about anything else. We care about changing the material conditions of our lives. We are laser focused. We will not be distracted. So my ask for you is that we've got 10 days left. It's hot out. The sun's beating down. Drink some water. Take care of yourselves. But we got 10 days to bring this thing home. There is no 11 days before the election anymore. There's no 12 days before the election. We have 10 days. We need to leave it all out on the field. We leave it all on the field in the next 10 days.
All right. Sound like the audio's going, but that was good. That was. I mean, like, it's always nice to see. I don't know, man. Like, I don't mean to be like, again, I don't want to put too much salt on this shit. Like on the, as Dragon Slayer 19 put it. But like, you do need to have some level of electoral, presence. And when it's being done like this, as opposed to like with the fucking chuckleheads in Congress, like she's actually out there spreading the message of Medicare for all, Green New Deal, free college, like directly to people, which is way more effective in terms of like winning people who are already on your side over to actually mobilizing. Like, she's organizing a fucking canvas. Like, if the March for Medicare for All was doing this, that would be awesome. That would be great, because it's a connection between that particular, policy campaign and a path towards getting the power to do that. So there you go. There you go. So I just want to drop in a vibe check. How's everybody doing? How we doing today? How we feeling? You bet Biden's thinking AOC being there isn't good for Nina. Well, I mean, he's a dumb fuck, and he doesn't want good things to happen. Like, he literally just doesn't. I mean, like, he basically thinks that the path towards like a better like stability is all he cares about in politics. Like, when Democrats talk about stability, they basically want to make sure that shit is the same and it never ever changes, because that's where Joe Biden and that's where most of the Democrats get their money from, their funding. It makes sense too. They owe their entire career to the system that put them in that got them there, right? Like, it would be silly to expect that they would not be like beholden to that system, the system that made them wealthy, that made Joe Biden president after a lifetime in the Senate. Like, they're so invested in the way things are that a change to that, a difference to that system, a difference to that program is not just, it's not just like inconvenient to them. It's a threat. But I mean, again, time passes, have a new movement come through. Politics evolve. Yeah, vibe check. How's everybody doing? How we feeling out there? How's the vibes, folks? We feeling good today? I did want to talk about this work that Las Vegas DSA is working on. So I was actually talking about this with a friend yesterday, and she's involved with it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. She's involved with oh, you're going to okay, cool. Have a good day. Tell Andrea hi for me. But yeah, I might be in there in a little bit. Who knows? But anyway, Las Vegas DSA stands opposed to Lithium Nevada's project at Thacker Pass. So this kind of got like a lot of like weird heat and attention. Specifically because well, let's take a look. Not this one. There was another thing involving a solar plant, but that was another thing totally and entirely not connected to this. But let's take a look at this story first. Las Vegas DSA stands opposed to Lithium Nevada's project at Thacker Pass. I'm sure I fucked that up. Las Vegas Democratic Socialist of America stands opposed to Lithium Nevada's project to exploit the sacred land of Fort McDermott, Paiute, and Shoshone tribe at Thacker Pass. We recognize the project will destroy the ecosystem and health of the earth with debilitating consequences for both the local environment and the lives of the Paiute and Shoshone people. This is unconscionable and unacceptable for environmental, feminist, and socialist reasons. First, Thacker's Pass destruction would lead to the poisoning of groundwater for up to 300 years. Holy shit, dude. By extracting the land for lithium, marketing officials and corporate profiteers have capitalized on this form of land colonization as an adaptation to environmental concerns that rightfully condemn the empires of oil and gas built on incalculable harm to marginalized communities. Sorry. I cut my finger yesterday on when I was making dinner. My pinky finger. I won't show body horror on this show. I think it's against TOS anyway. Lithium enables mass production of electric vehicles by providing supply chain for the batteries needed to power Tesla cars. Lithium batteries expand the capacity of auto companies to feed environmentally conscious consumers' demand for electric cars. Wall Street stuffed $3.5 billion into the pockets of its lithium vanguard to that end. Rather than finding new ways to generate revenue without exacerbating the destruction of ecosystems, the billionaire class has rebranded environmental degradation as environmental preservation. They played the Uno reverse card. Classic move. Because the harvesting of lithium destroys an ecosystem. The lithium itself is useful, but yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually. You don't want to destroy this ecosystem in this given moment. There needs to be a better way to do this, right? Thacker Pass is more than just a growth area, more than just profit opportunity. This is a home for land, water, wildlife, hunting and gathering, and a history of harmony predating settler colonialism. Pihi Muhu is the refuge of Ibi, a chalky rock utilized for treating ulcers, as well as toza root, an incredible antiviral medicine. These, combined with the sagebrush used for brewing tea for respiratory illness, are pivotal in the lives of indigenous disabled people. Lithium Nevada threatens the people of the tribe's access to these important items. In the words of the Nevada statewide Native American caucus, quote, greenwashing extractive industries does nothing but excuse anti-indigenous harm. So, yeah, I mean, again, these people, okay, I gotta make a phone call in a minute. These people are like literally just saying, let's do environmental destruction and let's just call it eco-friendly. You know what I mean? Lithium mining's harm in Thacker Pass would also be deeply gendered. The epidemic of missing and murdered indigenous women, children, girls, trans, and two-spirited people is a rampant crisis across Indian country, one that has been identified as ongoing genocide. Indigenous women are murdered at 10 times the rates of other ethnicities, and more than 4 out of 5 Indigenous women experience violence. More than half experience sexual violence. More often than not, this violence against Native women is perpetuated by non-Native people who take advantage of their power on stolen land. This lack of prioritization by settler governments, from the United States government to the Nevada state government, makes the actual scale of the epidemic impossible to calculate in lieu of adequate statistics. But we do know extractive industry expansion directly enables more violence against indigenous people on their land and in their homes. As land protectors, basically, they wrote, the destruction of Thacker Pass will lead to an increase in hard drugs, violence, rape, sexual assault, and human trafficking. Lithium's mining expansion will exponentially worsen this crisis of violence, disproportionately impacting indigenous women, trans, and two-spirit people. This is a long statement, but it's like filled with really great stuff. The ruling class's desire to reap indigenous resources has not changed. The incentive to extract by any means necessary is identical to the in 2021 as it was 500 years ago. That's a really important point, actually. Some things just never change. The ruling, as the New York Times wrote, quote, analysts estimate that lithium demand is going to increase tenfold, dollar signs, baby, before the end of this decade, as Tesla, Volkswagen, General Motors, and other automakers introduce dozens of electric models. Thacker Pass was greenlit by the Trump administration, but the Biden-Harris administration, seeking to make the United States a leader in combating climate change, also has a vested interest in lithium extraction. So this is like a interesting and important nuance to split. Like, you need to split this hair a little bit. You need to thread this needle, because again, technology for climate change is important, but the way that these things are used once they're taken out of the ground is like almost purely to enrich these already very wealthy companies. These, they basically want to, it's not necessarily going towards the things that they say that they are. Like mining lithium by itself isn't going to solve the problem if you're giving the money away to, corporations. Becoming a leader in lithium production would make the United States a global leader in raw materials to cut greenhouse gases by enabling green capitalism. But green capitalism is the road to green colonialism. The green capitalist perspective views stolen land and indigenous people as necessary sacrifices for the green industries and renewable energy resources. As a result of the indigenous uprisings and socialist movements that curb their monstrous activities across the Western Hemisphere, mining executives may not engage in the same blatant colonialist tactics of previous generations, but their actions will still profit off the blood of people of color and minoritized communities. Demand for lithium left unchecked will contribute to a gold rush across the world that is detrimental to collective liberation, decolonization, and indigenous sovereignty. Lithium mines will open in California, Oregon, Tennessee, Arkansas, and North Carolina. Lithium mines will then become the political capital of far-right resources in Bolivia, home to Salar de Uyuni. Boy, I definitely ruined that one. Which hold two-thirds of all lithium in the earth. So yeah, there's a lot to this. Very detailed statement, and really kind of covers everything. We call let's wrap it up at the end. We call on all commoners to support indigenous land and water protectors. If you can, go to Thacker Pass. If you cannot, put your body on the line at Pihibaha. Contribute to the people of Red Mountain. You can contribute here. I'll drop a link right in chat. But yeah. And this is to help pay for travel expenses, legal costs, and media outreach. If you cannot contribute funds, then share the people of Red Mountain's petition widely on your own social media circles. So you can do that as well. You must take a stand now at Thacker Pass for the sake of justice, both in the present and in the future, to halt lithium rush in its tracks. So there you go, folks. There you go. There you go. And I think that'll be a good point to end for today. But not before. I don't want to end before we thank our first ever patron, Claydonius. We're going to have some emotes ready to go shortly. But yeah, thanks, Claydonius, for being the first ever patron. We also have our patrons on patreon.com that we also want to support. Thank you to them. Yeah, Riker H, Rachel K, Penelope D, Stephen C, Adam R, Trey M, Gary W, Ty Jitty. So there you go. And Andy L. Don't want to forget about him. Oh, and Michael H. Can't forget about Michael H. He's been supporting us for a long time. So there you go, folks. Y'all have a lovely day. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here.